Debut of Carson Wentz, but of course a reunion with his old coach from Philly.
That just looks so bad.
The walls are closing in on Wentz.
A move has been made. Hurts is in.
It is over for Carson Wentz in Philadelphia.
These feet will need to walk a lifetime.
This goes back to Nick Foles winning the Super Bowl. Then he had a back injury, concussion, and the selection of Jalen Hurts. Wentz wanted a fresh start. Bang, Carson Wentz heading to Indy.
This started in 2017 in Philly with Frank Reich as the offensive coordinator.
I love sticking my neck out for people I believe in.
I'm not a perfect human being, but I'm going to do everything I can to be the best.
Wentz felt a pop while rolling out in practice.
4 weeks from surgery in his foot, he has looked excellent. This guy is playing.
I'm a competitor, and I want nothing but to win.
Tom Pelissero in Lucas Oil. Tom?
Rich, Frank Reich told me Carson Wentz's foot is still sore. It doesn't feel 100%, but Reich said Wentz's mobility looks pretty good in practice, and there's nothing he can't do in his Colts debut today against the Seahawks. Now, what the Colts actually ask Wentz to do, less than 6 weeks out from surgery, remains to be seen. Reich told me that there are certain plays that they're not going to call unless they have to. They'll probably keep the reins on just a little bit. They prefer that Wentz plays from the pocket and not be running around a whole bunch. Now remember, he missed time not just because of the foot in training camp, but also because of a recent stint on the COVID list. But Reich said there is no excuse. He's looked sharp in practice, and I can feel him getting better every day. Mooch, how do you think Wentz will look in his Colts debut?
All right, Tom. Well, thanks for that. I like where Carson Wentz is right now. He's in a good situation where he can reboot his career with the Colts in a familiar system with a familiar coach in Frank Reich. They're good together. But you mentioned it. He did miss several weeks with the foot surgery, okay? Then he comes back, and then he's placed on that COVID list for 5 days. So he's essentially missed a month of preseason camp. That's tough, not to mention no T.Y. Hilton today. So I don't expect a lot of fireworks. I expect him to hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor and have a conservative game plan today. And now for more on the Cards and the Titans, let's send it over to Cameron Wolfe in Nashville.
Mooch, remember, A.J. Brown was a big recruiter of Julio Jones, and he told me this week what he likes most about Julio's arrival is that defenses will have to play them both honest. Ideally, more one-on-ones. And for A.J., that means that he's going to be having a lot of fun with Julio out there. So who gets the number 2 corner? Well, A.J. chuckled and said, well, that's their problem to figure out. The Cardinals' cornerback unit is concerning after the surprise retirement of Malcolm Butler. They have a 2018 fourth-round, a guy who hasn't played since 2018, and a fourth-round rookie out there. And linebacker Marcus Golden told me with J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones, we're coming, and we should be able to help them out by scheming out some more pressure. So, Mike, what do you think? Are we going to see the Julio of old here in Tennessee?
Well, the Julio of old. Now, it depends on how old are we talking about. In 2015, this Julio put up 1,800 yards, 1871, almost 1,900 yards and 8 touchdowns. That Julio may be gone. But in 2019, he put up 1,394 yards. That Julio is still here, especially with Derrick Henry in the backfield. Oh, my God, you better believe he can still get it done. A superstar, just not like he used to be, but 12, 13, 1,400 yards, he can do that all day. Now, you know we will be in Washington for Thursday Night Football, so let's kick it out there to Kim Jones.
Well, thanks so much, Irv. You know, Ryan Fitzpatrick says he's grateful as he begins his 17th NFL season. And at age 38, he's actually the same age as Brandon Staley, who makes his head coaching debut today for the Chargers. Fitz is also a big fan of Justin Herbert, saying he should not be nearly as composed as Herbert already is. Well, of course, in today's game, Chase Young and Montez Sweat are going to try to disrupt that composure. Kurt Warner, I ask you this, who's going to have the better side of this one, Herbert or that Washington pass rush?
Karen, yeah, on the surface, I think it's easy that you say, oh, this is about the Washington pass rush, probably the best front four in the National Football League. And you mentioned there's Allen and the Payne and the Sweat and, of course, Chase Young. But let's give a little bit of love to the Chargers and what they've done up front. 2 years ago, they bring over Brian Bulaga. This past year, they bring in Corey Linsley. They draft Rashawn Slater. So they have upgraded that offensive line. And, Kim, as you mentioned, with the reigning rookie player of the year, offensive player of the year in Justin Herbert, I think this is a great matchup